Hi everyone, Mike Kirkby-Sing here from Lumsden and Balfour Presbyterian Church. Going to do a reading from Matthew 7 verses 13 to 14. Jesus says, "Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it." Don't know about you, but I find those words quite challenging. This teaching on the narrow gate and the narrow way, and the wide gate and the broad road that leads to destruction is pretty challenging. So what do you think? Now, firstly, it's not a literal description of gates and roads. It's a metaphor. I used to think when I was a child that it was literal, but no, it's a metaphor for two ways. There are two ways in life. One leads to life, everlasting life. One leads to destruction. We see firstly there are two gates. There's the wide gate and the narrow gate. Now the wide gate, it's the way that we're in a sense already on. It's the way of following the course of the world, our own ways in life, just choosing your own way. It's a wide gate. The narrow gate is the one that Jesus calls us to follow him. This is the narrow gate. And Jesus is throwing us a lifeline here. He's thrown us a lifeline by his death and resurrection, by his blood poured out on the cross. So Jesus is that narrow gate. We see that it goes on to two roads. One is the broad road. One is the narrow road. Now the broad road obviously is the way of just doing whatever you want in life, and the narrow road is narrow in the sense that it's not about doing just whatever I want, but it's about following God. And by virtue of that, makes it narrow. I'm going to seek to follow God, to seek his will, not just my own will. It could also be narrow in the sense that it involves some hardship or difficulty. There might be some trials or temptations in life, and it involves dying to yourself. It's not narrow in the sense of narrow-minded. No, not narrow in that sense, but narrow in the sense that I'm not just following my own will, I'm seeking to follow God. And there'll be some challenges along the road. So that makes it a bit of a narrow road. But we see the outcomes. It's unexpected outcome, because you'd think the broad road would be the right one to take because it's the easy way. But actually the outcome of that road is destruction. Whereas the outcome of the narrow road, is it leads to life. It leads to life everlasting. And this is the gospel, that Jesus' death and resurrection, and believing in him, it leads to life. And this is what Jesus is calling us to. He's calling us to life. He's calling us to follow him. He has laid down his life for us that we might have life. Obviously, not everyone follows that path. And so, but as we fix our eyes on Jesus, we see that he really is the life, and he is the way, the truth, and life. And even though there will be challenges, it will be hard at some points, ultimately it's worthwhile. And we've got, a Christian family, a worldwide Christian family, and here in Southland and in New Zealand, of people to encourage us on the way. And of course we'll stumble and fall and slip up and those kind of things, but ultimately it's a worthwhile life. So even though it's challenging, I hope that encourages you. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. I bless you guys. Hopefully catch you again.